Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Did you get some chills there?
Awesome intro.
Did you
Absolutely.
get
Yeah.
a little bit of the chills?
Totally. Totally. Yeah.
What's going on, man? We got Chris Mancini back in the movie dojo, hanging out with the samurai guy. Welcome back, brother.
Great to be back. I was looking forward to catching up because, like you said, there's a lot of movies and stuff to talk about.
Yeah, yes, yes. But we're gonna do that. But we are also going to, of course, talk about some comics. That's right.
Totally.
The continuation of sagas, of legacies must go on. They must continue. And we will get to that a little bit later. But it's so great having you here. Everybody watching, what's going on? Thank you, everybody coming in, saying hello. Jake saying hello, everyone. That's right. We got Bob Oden's son saying, hey guys, it's good to see everyone here. And yeah, man, it is great to have you here. And I mean, first off, it was fun having you here when we brought the Kung Fu Extravaganza back on the channel before it came back for realsies at
Yeah.
Comic-Con last year. And then I interviewed you a little not too long after that. And
Mhm.
then I'm just like, holy shit, time has flown. It's been over a year, Chris.
I know it goes really fast, and
Oh,
it also tells me too, like I need to get stuff done quicker, so I have more to talk about and get back quicker.
I was just like, holy crap, man. It just didn't feel like a whole year's just
Yeah, it flew.
gone. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. But it's great to have you here. Before we jump into what has Chris been watching recently, or what has he finished, and what is his thoughts on certain projects? What have you been up to, my friend, recently?
It's been a mix of just kind of creating the content for the podcast and also for the graphic novels. One of the things I'm excited about is I've just started going to cons and renting tables, which I've never done before. I mean, I've gone to cons and done panels and walked around and for years
Yeah.
and just would always love go do my panel and hang out and schmooze and hang out with friends and drink and but now I'm like, oh, cons look a lot different from the table looking up at people walking by is and so far the response has been fantastic with the White Cat Entertainment books with Long Gone Far Away and Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master, and I'm looking to do more of that this year for sure.
Nice. Well, that's awesome, man.
Hmm.
Congratulations on getting some panels and getting out there
Hmm.
and being a legend. For those of you that are brand new to, if you didn't see our first interview over a year ago, I should add some echo to that. Chris has done it all. Comedian, writer. He's done it all. TV, movies, done everything. But he does have a special place in his heart for comics. That's right. That's right.
100%. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Here
Hmm.
we go. Kevin saying, "What's going on?" Chris Mancini throwing it up. He's throwing it up. That's right. That's
Hey
right.
Kevin,
Yeah,
good to see you.
yeah,
Yeah, I my story for comic books was I remember like I was working for a local newspaper down in Chester County, Pennsylvania, and it was would love going to the comic book stores. I would try to sneak comic books stories into a local newspaper, but a
yeah.
local suburban newspaper, they're covering like when a new traffic light opens, so it was hard to get comic book articles into the newspaper. But I did an interview with Chuck Dixon because he actually lived
Oh,
out there. And this was years and years and years ago. And he couldn't have been nicer and more gracious. And he was like, "Hey, I'll give you some scripts to look at. You could examine those and learn how to write comic books." So he was just like super gracious. And 30 years later, I'm now doing it. So it took me a while. So
hey, better late
yeah.
than never, man. But before we move on, sir, what is this? Okay, you have not aged a day. All right. Look at this salt and pepper going on
Yeah.
here. I mean, what's the secret? What's the secret?
I have a portrait of myself in the attic that ages
Ah,
for me.
there
So
you
that's
go. Oh my goodness. But it's great having you here, my friend. And everybody watching right now, if you have any comic book related questions for Chris, just let me know. Let us know in the chat there. But yeah, let's have a little bit of fun, man. So,
yeah.
man, since a year has passed, um, man, what have you been watching? What have you been enjoying? What have you been disappointed with?
Well, I did a whole thing on the Oscars and the Oscar movies, and I got to tell you, the Best Picture nominees, I loved like Everything and Everywhere All at Once, but there were like a couple of them. I was like,
Right.
should these really be on here?
Yeah, yeah. Like, do you mind saying which ones? I mean, everybody
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
what's
Well,
there. Which one?
Top Gun, I really loved as a
Right.
popcorn movie, super
Yeah,
fun.
me
But
too. Yeah.
Best Picture, no. I thought
Yeah.
Triangle of Sadness was a an hour long White Lotus or an hour and a half long White Lotus episode,
Okay.
and there was a couple I could not understand or enjoy. Tar at all. I didn't quite get it. I got the great performance. I didn't get the movie.
Right. Okay.
But
I still haven't seen that one.
yeah, I will
Yeah.
say though that the animated film category this year was absolutely spectacular. Like you don't normally see super strong like a list of super strong. Usually it's like one or two really good ones and then a couple okay, these are good too, but this year was like, "Oh my god, these are fantastic."
I'm
And
actually
honestly,
I'm kind of angry, to be honest. I'm kind of
yeah.
pissed off that they excluded the best animated slash live action movie. You know, Disney Plus's Pinocchio. I'm very disappointed that that wasn't on there because that was like the best film of the year. I mean, come on, that should have won all the awards. I'm
I'll
just
tell
messing with
you. Yeah, yeah. Guillermo del Toro's
you. Dude.
Pinocchio was
Yo,
totally unexpected, and
dude.
I'm like, wait a minute, this Pinocchio story has fascism in it. So
Yeah, I was
it was
like,
super good.
yes, I was very
Yeah.
surprised.
And if you would have said to me, the new Puss in Boots movie is fantastic, I would have. In fact, I did laugh when someone said that to me. I'm like, well, that's impossible. There's no
Yeah,
way it's going to be that great, and it was fantastic. So I'm like, this is insane how good this movie is. It's like, I've never seen an animated character from a movie that like was really only never did more than skim the surface suddenly
yeah.
go deep into a character and deconstruct them. And
I
I'm like,
wasn't
this is
I wasn't interested in it either at all.
yeah, yeah,
And then people kept telling me, "No, it's good."
yeah,
I'm like, "Really?"
yeah, 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 and
And
it's
then
I'm like, "All right."
Rick Myers and Frank Jang were like, "No, dude, seriously." I'm like, "Wow." So it's
It
in the
was
queue. It's in the
yeah,
queue.
it's
I just haven't
really
watched it
good.
yet.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good,
I
but
actually forgot the Northman was I forgot. I didn't forget that it came out, but I forgot that it
Northman was
was
not
not.
nominated.
You think it would have been at least nominated for like cinematography or something like that, but
Yeah, a movie like that first of all, it's really hard to shoot, and second of all, you
yeah.
gotta get that cinematography and,
But
literally just right.
then again, whether you hate or love the film, a lot of people were kind of like, why wasn't the Batman nominated for cinematography?
Because you only had one f-stop setting, dark, that was it, so
I think even was it Roger Deakins? I
yeah.
think even he was kind of like, that's a Academy Award snobbery
Yeah.
when he was like, why wasn't the Batman at least nominated for like
But
at least
honestly,
cinematography though?
it was a good looking film for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
And
yeah.
but yeah, there was some a lot of like hit or misses, but there was like I said, the animated character I thought category was firing on all
Was it
cylinders.
Sea
But
Beast? And I forgot the other ones, but there was some good ones on
Turning Red,
there. Okay,
yeah, was on there
that
as
was pretty
well.
good.
Yeah, that was good too. That was good, but I thought Pinocchio and Puss in Boots were probably the best two on
Top
there, but they
two.
were all pretty solid.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you the one thing that I'm completely obsessed with now, and I've been watching, like, and I'm probably going to go back and rewatch so I can,
Okay,
enjoy every episode again, is Picard season 3. Uh,
dude, what is going on?
I am absolutely loving it, and to the point where I'm a little angry that it wasn't the first two seasons weren't as good as the one I'm enjoying now. So, to the
You know what some Star Trek fans are doing? You
Mhm.
know what they're doing? They're basically saying, you finish the Next Generation series, you go to that last episode, and you jump straight. You skip all. There's no Star Trek movies. It didn't happen. They didn't have no First Contact, no Generation, none of that. They skip from the last episode from the show and go straight to season 3, and it works. So,
that
do you agree with that?
I didn't think of it that way, but that is not a bad, way to play it for sure. Although I have to say, Star Trek First Contact was really good. I would make an exception for that one.
Yeah, it's
To put
entertaining.
that,
It's
yeah,
entertaining. Popcorn movie.
yeah,
It's fun. You know,
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, this is like I was watching this going, oh, this is the show I've been wanting, for 3 seasons, and now I've
Wow.
finally gotten it. Now, even if Patrick Stewart doesn't want to continue, and he's getting up there in years, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this universe that has been kind of brought back continue, even if he's not in it. Like,
Okay.
with all of the other characters supporting,
Yeah.
the Captain Shaw, like anybody, like in
Okay.
this, like I think because the thing that was been missing from the first two seasons, other than compelling plots, is the world building, that like what's going on in the Federation right now, what's going on with with the, do we have a villain, do we, what is there
Right.
anything else going on? And I especially the second season, like, wait, how long are we going to be in the past in LA? Is this is this half the season now? I thought it was one episode, going to be one episode. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um
So it's
but
over. Season three's over.
season 3 is half
Oh,
done.
okay. Okay. It's half
And
done.
I'm trying to go back and like watch them, like, all right, well, I really want to enjoy these, so I'm going to go back like I did
Okay.
with Andor. I'm just watching like
Yeah.
the episodes like twice. I remember watching Andor,
Love
and
Andor.
my wife was like, well, what, we already watched this. I said, I know, I'm watching it again. I'm using my preciously small streaming time to rewatch something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And
but
and Andor's one of those shows where you'll pick up something new
yeah,
when you
yeah,
rewatch it
so
for sure. Oh, here's a quick
super fun.
question here for
Hmm.
you, Chris.
Hmm.
Chris Mancini, I have a question. If you could get into animation, is there a series or comic book you would like to see turned into a show you would like to work on? For example, something from Marvel or Simpsons, etc.
Other than mine, yes. So yeah. I mean, I had,
Everything.
yes, yeah, I had mine in development for animation, but it didn't go as far as I would
Right.
have liked. But that's a good question.
For
I
now. For
actually,
now.
yeah, yeah, for now,
Yeah.
I would love to see something like a Hellboy, the way like they would do those one-off movies, those
Right.
animated movies.
Yeah.
I'd like to see like a BPRD series or something like that that's animated, that I would love to work on something like that. I think would be really cool.
Well, since you brought that up, I have to get your thoughts on the announcement of another Hellboy remake or reboot.
Yes.
Are you all for it? Are you like kill it? What's your thoughts?
I am neutral because I've seen good ones and I've seen unwatchable ones. So
Right.
there never seems to be one in between. It's either going to be really cool or just like, I don't know what the hell happened. This is completely unwatchable. Now, I will say this, that gives me a little hope. The
Okay.
story that it's based on, The Crooked Man, is a
All right.
fantastic, creepy, weird story. I mean, one of the
Ooh.
problems with
All
the
right.
last Hellboy movie is I'm watching this movie and I'm going, oh, that's from one storyline. That's from a second storyline. That's from a second arc. That third arc. That's from a fourth arc. They literally shoved like 5 Hellboy arcs together into one a
Yeah.
movie, and it made no sense. What it couldn't have.
Right.
And thinking, all right, now this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take random pages from 8 different Hellboy arcs and put them together into a film.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's sad too because there's some parts of that movie I was entertained with. Very little though.
Hmm.
But it's sad because I don't know if you heard about the director Neil Marshall. He really, I mean, the behind the scenes people really gave him hell. Like they kept screwing it up because I think there's like 50 producers for the film, and it's just like they had a plan. All right, all right, this is what we're going with, and then they start
Yeah.
filming, and then they come in and be like, no, change it. And I
Yep.
heard it was a nightmare. So,
Yeah.
but
Everyone
some
gets
some
5
people like
pages.
it. Yeah, everyone gets 5 pages. Yeah, yeah. There you go, Crooked Man.
Yeah,
I gave him
then it's the editor's problem.
right, right, right. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like you. I'm neutral with it because it's
Yeah.
kind of like people are like, "Why would you do this?" No one remember like, do you remember the last one? And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't think the casual audience remembers the last
No. No,
one. So
not at all.
technically, you
No.
could do
Yeah.
another one. Yeah.
Yeah, we get
Um,
fed so much content at such a rapid pace. Literally, even if it's something's not supposed to be a remake or reboot, it
yeah.
feels like it is.
Right. Right. I know last time we spoke, we were talking about a Sandman series was going to
Yes.
come out at some point. I still have not watched it.
Mhm.
What was your thoughts on it? I'm sure you've seen it by now.
Absolutely. It was I really liked it. I thought it was excellent. It was a great adaptation. And you could tell Neil Gaiman was definitely involved in
Oh,
it.
good.
And some of the stuff was creepy, some of it was I think they kind of watered down a little bit. Some of it was worse. It's then even more graphic than maybe in the book. So it was a mix, but overall, I really really liked it. There was one episode at the end that was kind of like a bonus episode that was like
Mm,
two short stories.
okay.
Those two specifically, those two stories in that last episode felt like I was watching the comic book come to life. I thought they were like the closest to what we would
Wow.
read in the book. So like the
Okay.
series is good, like the Corinthian is really good and creepy, but the that last episode, it was weird because they didn't really promote it. It just kind of dropped like, oh
Okay.
wait, we're getting another episode. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt like that was probably the closest to the actual comics. Yeah, it's and half of it's animated with the cats. Yeah, I
All right.
agree. It's definitely one of the best episodes.
Well, it's a good sign if Chris
Yeah,
gives it the thumbs up, and
for
that means
sure.
Samurai can. I'm safe to dip my toe in it and get in the
Yes.
water, and you're
In
good to
fact,
go.
what's interesting is that's such a one-off episode. You could even start with that one and then,
Oh
go to the
wow!
series because it's
Nice,
it's pretty
nice.
separate. It's the way the books used to do. Like every once in a while, there'd be breather episodes or issues
Right.
where it didn't have anything to do with the main story. It just kind of gave a little more backstory on the world and Morpheus and the different forms he would take. So
Now
it's
we are
it's great.
getting a season 2, right?
We are getting a season 2. Now,
Okay.
there has been like a,
Oh.
kind of like a bloodbath in streaming where like all
Oh.
the budgets and stuff are getting slashed. So most likely season 2 will get it, but the budget will be lower. Season 3 is
Hmm.
probably up in the air. We'll see.
Okay. Okay. Well, at least it got greenlit for another season because Netflix
Yes.
is known to just cancel, cancel, cancel
They are.
shows.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they really made a 180. It was spend, spend, spend. Now it's cancel, cancel,
Yeah.
cancel.
No matter the quality, it could be
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
show and they'll cancel it.
Yeah.
So
It's everything's done by algorithm now without any
right,
rhyme or reason
right,
sometimes.
right. I got some more questions. Well, not questions, but yeah, questions. Let's see. Have you seen the Gotham Knights CW show?
I have not seen the Gotham Knights CW show.
Damn it!
Yeah.
I was expecting a big roasting here
Yeah.
from I've heard it's so bad
Mhm.
that it's the worst CW show ever made.
That is a
That's
very
pretty.
low bar to clear.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, God damn. Anyone
Wow.
seen Gotham Knights? Let us know in the comments or the chat
Mhm.
what you thought about it. But yeah, I hear it's really bad. Can we stop killing Batman?
Well, the other thing is too, stop making shows with the word Gotham in them because it's like it's not going to be good if you just put Gotham in it. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like we're going to be edgy. We're going to kill Batman in the show. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not really,
Stop it.
yeah, what anyone really wants. Or
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oof, oof. All right, all right. Well, we'll move on. Let's see. Excuse me, Titans on HBO Max that got canceled. Correct? Have you seen Titans?
No, I've only after watching Teen Titans, the animated series, and Teen Titans Go, I'm like, I'm done with Titans. These were
Your Titans
fantastic.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm tightened out. And but what was interesting is like those shows, they came from like the old DC streaming service that nobody had. And when that collapsed, they all these shows like kind
Yeah.
of found a new home on HBO Max. And then when HBO was going through all of the cancellations, I was looking, okay, well, that's the first ones on the chopping block are going to be Doom Patrol,
Yeah.
Titans, and then of course Pennyworth, which I can't even believe it got as far as it did, because that show is insane, and I liked
Really?
it, but it's like
Oh.
it's so insane that like there's no way this has an audience that's large enough to continue with
So
another
it's
season.
Pennyworth is good. I was getting ready to ask you that.
It's good if you look at it as like an alternate universe kind of, Batman like Elseworld story that
Okay.
has like Pennyworth and Lucius Fox and a couple of these other characters. But if you didn't hear them say those names, you'd never know that it was a like a DC comic book show. It's like that insane, this weird alternate universe, an alternate history, 60s London scene that has everything from like a bioweapon to Aleister Crowley and a special appearance by Satan. So there's all
Well,
this crazy shit
that's
that
fun.
happens in this show. Yeah.
We really loved Doom Patrol, but the last
Yes.
season we're kind of like where are we going? So hopefully
Yeah.
hopefully it ends well. But yeah, this
It
last season we're like, what are we doing? Like the characters have had these character arcs, and then
mhm.
this last season they're just right back to where they were, and we're
And
kind of like, what happened? Like they, so we'll see what
I'm hope
happens. Hopefully it
yeah,
ends well.
I'm hoping it's leading up to something because they knew this was going to be it. So I'm hoping they took that into consideration as they
Right.
were writing and shooting this final season. But Doom Patrol was always one that was kind of very uneven. It was like, okay, well, is this funny? Is this is it like serious? Is it like they never could really strike the right tone, and I think that was one of the show's problems. Like, are you being
Wa-
weird just to be weird, or is there a purpose?
was the comic similar?
The comic went through a bunch of like itinerations. Like when you look at like the older Doom Patrol, it was
Yeah,
fairly straight, and but then it got weirder and
it
weirder,
got
and
bonkers.
yeah,
Okay.
which is totally fine. So I expected the show to be nuts,
Yeah.
but you if you're doing humor, then you're doing kind of like graphic violence at the horror movie level. It's like, well, where where's your middle lane? Where what are you trying to say? And I think that as the show progressed, they found that tone and
Yeah.
that a little bit better. Where this is weird, but this is what we're gonna do, and there's a meaning, there's a method to the madness, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this
Okay.
last season, but I will be even extra disappointed if they don't stick the landing. So
Yeah, we will too. I mean, we came this far. We might as well finish the show. So
yeah, that's the other thing too. You at some point when you know a show is ending and you've watched more than half of it, you almost feel like a weird obligation. Like, okay, I'm gonna finish it anyway. So
oh man, unless it's shite, and then you
right.
just like, I can't do it, right? Oh my goodness. All right. Marvel Phase 4. What is wrong with Marvel now? What can Marvel do to fix things? Unless you think Marvel is its best it's ever been, they could do no wrong. They are perfect. I don't know. There's people like that exist.
Yeah,
They're out
yeah.
there.
I think what happens is when you have something as amazing as like an Infinity War, and you had like literally a 10-year lead up to it.
Right.
I mean, where are you going to go from there?
Tough. Yeah.
What I'd like to see is more chances being taken. And honestly, this is a weird thing to say. I'd like to see less content, because what's happening is there's just too much of like, oh wait, I don't need how many Marvel movies are we getting a year now plus all of the series? Like I feel like, and the purpose of each one is just to introduce the next thing.
Right.
And I'd like to see less projects and a more attention to them as standalone movies or standalone shows. They can of course tie into the larger universe and stuff, but that it seems like the lately that's all the purpose has been for these shows or movies, is to
Right.
lead to the next thing. And it's like, if I feel
And
like it's
that's
reversed.
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Well said. And that's fine in a way, but it still has to be good.
Yeah.
You still have
Hmm.
to write really great stories for your shows and stories for your movies. Like they still have to be good.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't just phone it in. I mean, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but if you take out Spider-Man No Way Home, if you take it out,
Hmm.
just remove that, right? Out of the entire Phase 4, this is my favorite. This was my favorite Marvel property. Is Werewolf by Night. It's like I
Hmm.
enjoyed Shang-Chi,
Yes.
for what it was. I and Doctor Strange, I enjoyed it for what it was. But this was such a surprise. It came out of nowhere, and it was such a love letter to Universal horror
Right.
movies that and it was short and sweet, and
And
anybody could jump in and watch it.
it didn't feel like it was presenting or
Yes,
introducing something else or another.
right.
Like it felt like its own thing, and that's what I totally agree. I'd love to see
Yeah,
more of that.
yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well said, though. But yeah, it's kind of like, here's the thing, though, is people are saying, well, we're just leading up to the X-Men. Once the X-Men get here, Marvel will be on fire again. The X-Men, the Fantastic Four will save Marvel, and they will be, on top again. They could still fuck that up, though. They could still fuck it up. I'm hearing rumors already that they may not call them X-Men in the MCU. They may call them something else. So I'm just
Oh,
kind of like, so you want to lose money?
yeah, yeah.
Is that what you want? You want to lose money?
I don't think.
Everyone knows the X-Men name.
Yeah,
Even
I
if they're
don't
not a
think
comic book
Disney.
nerd, they know
No,
the X-Men name, the name.
Disney did not buy Fox to not use the word X-Men.
Exactly. But some of these rumors, man, I'm like, dude, that
Yeah.
is just, does the rumors ruin my day? No. But it's something to bring up because if it happens, I'm gonna laugh hysterically. I'm like, oh, Disney, you don't want to make any money. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
All right,
and
sure.
I'll be curious to see how it all kind of ties in with like another Deadpool and the X-Men and the new Avengers. But also, it's you don't have to force everything. It's like, okay, we got to hurry up and introduce all these new characters, and we have to hurry up and get rid of the old ones. And I'm like, well, no, you could have less content, have it more standalone, and do different things with it. Like yeah, more Werewolf by Night
Yeah.
and even like some of the one-offs. Like I remember when WandaVision came out, I'm like, that was super weird for the first Marvel show to come out
Yeah.
because of the pandemic. That wasn't the plan. The plan was Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was a much more
Oh,
traditional,
really? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
a Marvel show. But because of the shooting schedules and pandemic, it
Yeah.
ended up being um WandaVision, and I loved that show. And I thought, oh my God, if every Marvel show is going to be this innovative and weird and cool,
Interesting.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on board. And so I don't know. I mean, there's potential in Moon Knight. There's potential in a lot of these shows, but they show up for a couple of episodes, and
Yep.
you don't know if they're going to get a second season. You don't know if they should get a second season,
Yeah. Yeah.
or how they're going to tie in. Like I want to see a Loki season 2, or I don't know how Daredevil is going to fit in now. Like, is it how much are they going to kind of lighten it up for Disney Plus instead
Yeah.
of being grittier for Netflix? I mean, we don't know yet, and believe me, they're having all these conversations over at Marvel too. So
Yeah. Are they having
yeah,
these conversations?
I hope they are. If
We
they're
could
not,
do no wrong.
yeah, yeah.
They'll buy any crap we put out.
Well, the
I mean, you
interns are
never
at
know.
least. I know.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed that,
Yeah,
we get good Marvel products, shows and movies in the future.
I like good
Nobody
Marvel content just like anybody else.
Yeah. So let's switch it over to DC.
Hmm.
Thoughts on Black Adam and Shazam 2, Electric Boogaloo?
I did not see Shazam 2, but Black Adam was terrible. But I didn't expect it not to be. It was
Okay.
yeah, it was like, okay, well, um this is like it didn't do anything. It was like an almost like a search and replace of like any superhero movie.
Yeah.
Just put The Rock in, make him a villain, and then
Yeah.
make him somewhat sympathetic, and have him in the Shazam costume that I'm sure confused a lot of people. Like, well, wait, why is he wearing the Shazam costume and
Right.
Shazam's not in the movie?
Yeah.
And from the chatter online, it seems like they may be regretting that decision now as they see, how the
Well, it
box
seems
office
like
returns are. Yeah,
everybody, it seems because, Shazam 2 did not do that well.
yeah. And at the end
So
of the
now
day, now it
everyone's
doesn't
playing the
matter.
blame game now. They're
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
it's the Rock's fault.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, they can point fingers all they want, but it doesn't matter because James Gunn has come in and cleaned house, and he's completely rebuilding the universe from the ground up. So any of those missteps or mistakes, even if the movies were a hit, it wouldn't matter. It's everything is being rebooted.
That was my next segue there.
Hmm.
You're psychic, Chris. You're reading my mind. So are you happy when what his first chapter ideas is Gods and Monsters? The first chapter, all his planned projects coming out. Were you excited? Were you happy? Were you kind of like meh?
I'm a huge James Gunn fan. I haven't liked all his movies, but I kind of like his sensibility and his passion for superheroes and DC too. But it's such a large ship to kind of change, the direction. And also there's a large subsection of fans who love the Snyderverse and want to see everything dark and
Yeah.
a muted color palette and everyone angry and violent all the time, no matter who they are. But um, I think what I'd like to see is the mix the way Marvel did when Marvel was first kind of generating these movies and TV shows,
Variety.
where you have a variety, you have
Yeah.
different characters, you have different heroes, you have different tones for the films or TV shows, but they can all kind of like pull together now and interconnect. A
Yeah.
lot of the, he announced a lot of projects. We'll see if they all see the light of day. You don't always, sometimes stuff dies in development or whatever. That happens all the time. But
They have to
um,
deliver though.
they have to, and they have to deliver on the big ones. It has
Right.
to be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Cyborg, Aquaman, all the Justice League, Green Lantern. Like, you want to see Flash, you want to see them really shine. Now, we also want to see, more Peacemaker and all of these other characters. That's great, but you still want the main course, even if the side dishes are great too. So
Right. Right.
so
Copy that.
I'm hoping the reboot and is very meticulously planned, and it's not a rushed rollout. It gets to build slowly, the way it should, the way Marvel did.
Right. Right. We just have to wait and see. Hopefully they
Yeah.
stick the landing, because if they don't,
Hmm.
they'll get somebody else to take over later.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question Brolicon has, Chris, do you know why he was not involved?
I'm sorry.
Why Black Adam was not involved at all in Shazam 2, why he was not in there. Do you know the
Oh, it
reason?
was a separate contract. Like, The Rock just wanted his own film. That's I don't think it's anything more than
Okay.
complicated than that. And I think there was contract and rights issues.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Do you know, because I know you have the inside scoop on some stuff.
Some stuff, yeah.
Please tell me, that Deadpool 3 is rated R.
I'd be super, super surprised if it wasn't. And they right now, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be R for sure. And
Oh, thank
yeah,
God.
yeah. So but again, it could change, but it's unlikely, because it's like making Logan PG. It wouldn't make sense
Oh my
for the
God.
yeah.
You almost gave me a heart attack imagining it. I almost had a stroke right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think another reason is people forget that the PG-13 version of Deadpool 2 did not do well,
It did not.
because that was their
Although
test. That was their
yeah.
little test.
And it failed, and it should have. But okay, I give him credit for the test. However, the one thing I will say is that those promos with Fred Savage were absolutely hilarious, and it made me almost want to go see it. But then all the reviews started coming out. I'm like, nah, it's not worth it. Just watch the original.
I'll
So
watch it for free.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, you'll forward it to the Fred Savage scenes.
yeah.
So, oh my goodness. Really quickly, thoughts on the Joker 2 being a musical?
Has that been confirmed?
I don't know. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Could it work?
Um. Well, I mean, that's no. I'm just gonna go and say no. But you do have Lady Gaga, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna maybe have music in it,
Yeah.
but not be a musical. Like, she may be like a cabaret singer or something like that, in addition to being a psychiatrist. I don't know. I don't know what they're
What
gonna
if
do, because
all
it's
the
an alternate universe thing.
Right? What if all the songs are just in Joker's head? Just in his head. To play with
Oh,
you.
okay, now we're getting more into more interesting territory. Like, they only played in Arkham Asylum, or or maybe there is, like, Arkham Asylum puts on a musical, and then was one of the
Okay.
pieces. I would be up for that. But yeah, I think the whole movie being a musical, I think that might be another weird
We're gonna have
internet rumor.
Killer Croc with a cane and a hat,
Yeah,
going down there.
but stranger
Um,
things have happened, so
that's
we'll see.
true. That's true. As long as it's entertaining, right?
Yes.
Inside scoop question. Inside
Mhm.
scoop question. Aquaman 2, are the rumors true that it's
Which
going to leave
rumor
you
you're
black and
thinking?
blue if you go see it? I'm hearing it's utter trash.
Okay, I haven't heard any rumors to that effect. However, it sounds completely realistic to me that would happen, because first of all,
Oh,
the first Aquaman wasn't great, and when
yeah,
you're adding a sequel, and you have all this drama, on and off camera, and
right.
I can't imagine any way in any alternate universe that it's amazing. So I would just
So
yeah,
you were not a fan of the first Aquaman?
I was not, and so
Not
I would
even
just
the action scenes? Like, just
the
the
action's
action?
okay. I mean,
No?
Jason Momoa is mesmerizing. I'll give him that. But I'm like, this is still kind of a CG punch fest. Yeah, I can't imagine it would be good at all. So,
Alright, there you go, guys.
so yeah, I'm not
Now
looking
I'm
forward to
wanting to
Aquaman
see this now. I'm wanting to see,
2.
ever since I brought it up, I wanna see Killer Croc, be putting on some Ritz in the
All right,
Joker.
come on, internet AI, make that happen right now as we're on the show. Make Killer Croc do a putting on the Ritz
Oh.
in a top hat and a tuxedo.
That's it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if I had any
Let's
other
go,
ones right
chatbot, make it happen now.
there. Let's switch it around to fantasy really quick, and then we'll
Okay.
go to we'll talk some comics. Um, I have seen neither. Thoughts on the Lord of the Rings show and House of Dragons? What was the other one?
Yes.
Game of Thrones
Mhm,
show. What was your
mhm.
thoughts on both, sir?
Okay, well, it's no surprise to anyone who knows me or has read any of my work. I am a huge fantasy fan, so I grade on a curve when it comes to fantasy. So
Hmm, on a curve.
yes,
Okay.
because I'm enamored with dragons and elves and swords and all of these things. So, um, Game of Thrones, I really liked. I thought it was kind of a good continuation. Does it have the same punch of all the characters that we know and love from the other series and seasons? Not yet,
Okay.
but I will say it is definitely entertaining. And I'm not sure what note the studio gave that there had to be some horrific birth scene in most of the episodes. I don't know where that came into play,
Most of
but
the episodes, not
yeah,
just one.
yeah, not just one. Okay, it felt like most. It was definitely more than one, but and let me put it this way, it was too many. Whatever the number
Ah,
ended up being, it was too many.
wow. Okay,
So
that's odd.
but love the dragons, love
Okay.
the awful villains and and the as I call it, the palace intrigue in the
Okay.
in the and um so it's been really good. Now, here's what I like about Lord of the Rings, and also we could even talk about Willow too, because Willow came
Oh
out as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Throw Willow in there.
And the thing about Game of Thrones is it's hard R fantasy. You're gonna get super hardcore sex, super hardcore violence, super hardcore
It's
gore.
fun.
Yeah, and it's basically this is fantasy for adults. The kids
Yeah.
can't watch with you on these shows. However, when you get to Willow and Lord of the Rings, it feels more traditional fantasy where you feel it's almost like nostalgic if you've read like Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe and Lord of the Rings and all of these books, the fantasy books that we kind of grew up with.
Yeah.
They're more classic and traditional, these shows. You have the elves or the noble race, the dwarves are in the mines, and
Yeah.
the humans are bickering with each other, which still happens now. So
So
but
so you're okay with Willow and Lord of the Rings.
yeah, Willow was probably the weakest of the three, but it did have, because I grew up in the 80s. I'm still stuck in the 80s, Preston, just so you know, as you can tell by my work as well. Yeah.
I've never left.
Yeah, yeah. So that kind of won me over with its nostalgia too,
Okay.
with Willow, and I loved the new characters that they added, and
Okay.
I definitely will say that I think the younger characters could have used a little more development. The adult characters were super interesting,
Hmm.
um, and the
Not
adult
surprised.
characters were much better fighters, and you could tell that they had a lot more sword experience and combat
Okay.
and screen fighting, whereas some of the younger fighters, you could tell, okay, you worked with a stuntman for 2 weeks. That was you literally spun around as you're the person you're sword fighting waited for you to completely spin around before then so
Just
there's
do this.
yeah. I think there during the fight scenes when the younger actors were fighting, I think there were a bunch of stunt people rolling their eyes watching some of that footage. But Lord of the Rings is probably one of the most interesting one, because that one probably had the biggest budget when you include the giant hundreds of millions of dollar licensing fee just to get Lord of the Rings for Amazon.
Okay.
And What I found really interesting, and again, super nerdy, I actually bought, the book, The Fall of Numenor, to actually get some of the source material to read that they were basing a lot of the show on. So I
Okay.
wanted to kind of get that extra information. And there's a lot of cool stuff in the book that, for one reason or another, is not in the show yet. And
Huh.
I'm hoping it can actually get there. But
Season two.
yeah, like, or it's alluded to, or like, Galadriel's in the show way more than in the actual stories. I get that you need, like, a heroine to kind of anchor everything, but there's a super interesting plot with Sauron, who was a guy, and that he wanted himself to be captured. He was taken to Numenor,
Yeah.
the island, and he corrupted everybody, and then to make them fight the elves to gain their own immortality. Like, and he made them, like, trick them into creating the rings. Like, there's all this really cool, interesting backstory that didn't quite make it into the show. So I'm hoping, like, in season 2, a lot of this actually comes through, because it's even though a lot of it is fragmented, and Tolkien never really fleshed out and finished a lot of these stories. There's a lot of let me put it this way: there's more rich source material than I thought there was for a lot of these stories and these characters. So I think there's definitely more places the show can go that it hasn't yet. But we'll see
Okay.
what happens on season 2. But it's definitely worth a view. Like, the money is definitely on the screen there. And
You
if
were
you're a fantasy
entertained.
fan, yeah, I
You
was
were entertained.
entertained. It had some
Okay.
great fight sequences, as some parts of it were a little slow. There's a weird subplot with, I think, like, people coming down from the sky like a meteor. Like, I think that's going to be Gandalf. I'm not sure, with the wizards.
What in the world?
Yeah, it's very weird. Like, because nothing actually gets explained. So I'm sure that'll get explained in the next
Okay.
season. But yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. But again, big fantasy fan. So
Right, right.
uh,
You're biased a little
yeah, I
bit.
am biased. Yeah.
Speaking of continuing the fantasy talk, thoughts on the
Mhm.
Witcher series, and is the show dead now that Cavill is not going to be playing the lead?
Well, it's dead to me. So that's
There you go.
yeah, I mean, he was the heart and soul of
That's
that
a nice
show.
professional way of
Yeah,
saying
yes. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he really was the heart and soul of that show. And that show a lot of times was a bit of a mess. And now I get that, like, the books, because I read all the books too, they kind of time jump around a little bit. So, but here's the thing: if you're doing time jumps and you have a character that doesn't age like normal
it.
people, like The Witcher, there
Yeah.
is no possible way for a viewer to know if you're in the past, present, or future, especially if he's still wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some issues with the storytelling in that series. And but he was so good in that show. He anchored it all together where you could kind of forgive a lot of that.
Okay.
And but with him gone, it's like if James Gunn left Peacekeeper. I mean, I don't see
Right.
the point after that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. But yeah, last question here. Any new update, inside scoops on Blade?
I have no insight into that in Blade. I'm not sure. I think it's still kind of in the
It's
development
dead
slate
to
for
me.
Marvel.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard any scuttlebutt on Blade.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But I hope it's still moving forward for sure.
They got a great actor.
Hmm.
I'm sure with a lot of training and the stuntman being badass, I'm sure they can. I mean,
It'll be
obviously
amazing.
he's not
Yeah,
going to be Wesley Snipes because there's only one Wesley.
yeah.
But at least make it decent. So, but I don't know. I feel like the longer they take, I wouldn't be surprised if Ali just leaves.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the
It's
longer
just
these
like,
things are in development,
yeah.
then the actors get committed to other things, and then
Hmm.
they may not be available. I mean, they get locked in for a certain period of time, but like you said, as things drag
Yeah.
on, they're like, you can't lock up an actor forever. And
Yeah.
so we'll see. I'm not sure. It's still on the slate. They're still developing it, so we'll see what happens.
I'm curious of how atrocious the original script was that they just threw it up and the guy who wrote it just left.
It's
I
got to be
mean,
on the internet somewhere.
that's got. I mean, how bad? How do you? It's the comics and the movies. They're already there.
Yeah.
Everything's right there. Like, how do you? It's a vampire hunting character.
Yeah, it's weird when you
Well,
have a
how
blueprint in
hard is
front of
this?
you. Yeah. And
Yeah.
they're like, how could you mess this up so bad? It was literally right in front of you.
Yeah.
And comic book creators, I hear this all the time. It's like, it was literally right in front of you. How could you have messed this up so badly?
I guess anything's possible.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed that we don't just get Ali talking at the end of the Eternals,
Yeah.
and that's it. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
get him in black, get him a sword. Let's have him kill some
Hmm.
vamps.
Yeah, and
Come on,
if Black
what
Knight
is?
wants to go with him, with if
Yeah,
Jon Snow and
let's
his
go.
Black Knight wants to go,
Fine,
I'm on board. Yeah, we'll see.
just do something here. Do
Yeah.
something
Mhm.
here. They got here. They open the door with Morbius, for goodness sake, and then there's this. Oh, the original script had 2 fights only. Oh, well, then that's not good. That's not good. Just
Wow,
2
really?
fights. That's atrocious.
Yeah. And it
Yeah,
was 600 pages long. So
this is what I think of that script. I am not a fan of that at all. That's right. Not a fan. But yeah, hopefully they get things back on track. Let me see. Was there anything else comic book movie or TV show related I had a question on? I think that's it as of right now, unless it comes back to me. But yeah, man, still having a blast. Glad you're here. So let's get into it, man. First
yeah.
off, I am absolutely, if you guys just got here, go back and watch the intro I made. It's amazing. It'll give you chills. But
Did for me. Yeah.
yeah. But just shout out to the pinup artists here. I mean, I want to give a shout out. I'm loving the 80s vibe right here. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
That was Janet Leigh. Yeah.
This screams 80s
Hmm.
here. I mean, we got the posing, and
Yes.
this is still my favorite because he's holding a bag of Cheetos.
Yep.
Now, Samurai Guy is like being a young teen version of me.
Hmm.
This would be the one I would buy and hang up in my room. Like
Nice.
easy.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these pinups are amazing artwork from amazing artists.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
this
they're
would be the
awesome.
one. Like
Hmm.
if you sold this right now, like a
Mhm.
full poster or a small print, and signed
Yeah.
it, or the artist signed it,
Mhm.
I would buy it, Chris.
Yeah, they're
I'd buy it, frame it, and hang it up right now. I'd find a spot. I
I
run out of space, but
I did that actually. I printed out a bunch of the pinups and put them on my wall because they came out so
yeah,
good. But
nice.
that last one was by Craig Rasmussen, and he will be at Comic-Con selling that print and signing it. So
Oh, well, I might run into him then.
yeah,
I
for
might run
sure.
into him. Awesome. I get to
Hmm.
meet the man. But yeah,
Hmm.
quick shout out, throwing it up on the screen. I want to make sure all
Hmm.
the artists get a good shout out and love. All of these badasses are extremely, extremely talented. And so I had to show Samurai had to show some love back. You know what I'm saying? But yo, Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master. That's right. You right up Samurai Guy's alley. All right. We got the martial arts. We got the action. We got awesome villains. We got comedy. We got 80s vibe. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. That's right. Boom. What? That's right. Samurai Guy got his copy now.
Yep.
Representing, son. Yeah. And I it's been a while since I bust these out because I read them a year ago. And I love how Chris put in here, fat, sweep the leg. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I actually reread this.
Oh, awesome.
To prepare for
Hmm.
the podcast. So Samurai Guy's a professional. I do my best. But yeah, man, I love this. It's still hilarious, still a lot of fun. Highly recommend you guys pick this up if you love martial arts, kung fu, and all that jazz and comedy and all that stuff. But man, just like shout out to the artist as well. I mean, I
Yeah.
love shots like this.
Yeah.
And
It's a classic Marvel, like is like the X-Men versus Avengers, that kind of thing. Like enough said, one of those panels.
Pinto,
But yeah,
right?
Fernando Pinto. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's amazing.
Yeah, shout out to Fernando Pinto. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's just some really great artwork and great shots, especially stuff like this. Just phenomenal collages, great artwork, and just a fun story and fun characters, and just really funny, and a lot of action. And it reading both of these. That's right. I already read the second one. Suckers. No, just kidding. It just takes Samurai Guy way to another place. Like it's what I love about cinema, what I love about movies. I want to be transported somewhere else, and it always reminds me, especially with the lead character of Rick, it always
Mhm.
reminds me when I was young how Samurai Guy always hated, always hated when you have our hero or whatever go off. He's the chosen one, and he goes off to another land and fights the villain and gets the girl. Oh
Mhm.
no, I gotta go back to Earth, or I gotta leave. I gotta go back to work. I could not stand that when I was a kid. And a little small shout out to I forgot the name of the actor, but he played like the chief police in Masters of the Universe, the live action movie. He's
That
the
is
bald,
going back.
yeah, the bald actor from the Back to the Future films. Slacker. I forgot
Oh,
his
man.
name. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, right?
Yeah.
McFly, the bald head, and he was
Oh.
like the cop in Master Universe. And when I saw Master Universe when I was young, I loved it. I loved it
Mhm.
when he went to Eternia. He helped fight the bad guys, and then his ass stayed there.
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah.
he stayed there? He had a woman with him. I was like, go ahead, Cap. That's right. What the hell you gotta go back to Earth for? Jesus Christ. Like, to quote Ron Perlman from Alien Resurrection,
Yeah.
Earth,
Yeah.
what a shithole.
Yeah.
Like, that used to drive me
Yeah.
insane. In the film, John Carter, gets a lot of flack, but I love that
Oh,
ending,
yeah.
man. I love that ending. Even as an
Yeah.
adult,
Mhm.
I love that ending to that movie. I'm just like, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God, Jesus Christ. But oh, look at that. Look at that. They're already buying it right now. Look at
Awesome.
that.
Yeah,
Awesome, Kevin. Yeah.
it's on digital for Amazon, but if you want a signed copy, you can go to
Ooh.
whitecatentertainment.com and I'll ship it out. But yeah, it's on Kindle right now. Also, Comixology, they kind of merged, but yeah, you could get Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master digitally, like instantly. Mhm.
Yes, and I did put White Cat Entertainment link in the description box below, guys, so you can go straight to the website if you need to. But yeah, man, it's just a lot of fun, and I just really enjoyed it a lot, and it was fun rereading it and catching up on the Rick and his hilarious friend. That if you were making a movie, I would be the friend.
Yeah.
I'll be the friend
Yeah.
just while Rick's getting his ass kicked. I'm just be there chilling, eating,
Yeah.
eating Cheetos. I would be the
Yeah.
comedic relief for sure in that one. But I know what you mentioned earlier about trying to get this to an animated property.
Yeah.
I hope you keep trying,
Mhm.
because this was killing me, man. When I was reading this and I went right into the second volume,
Yeah.
I was like,
Mhm.
oh, dude, this would be such a good animated show. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, or a live action show. Fuck it,
Yeah.
or a movie, or
I
just
would love
one
to see
film.
it as a live action movie too, and I always kind of envision them as like because I that's kind of my background is film school and movies and
Yeah.
and of course again stuck in the 80s, so as like a trilogy, it's Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master. Of course, the next one will be Fall of the Kung Fu Dragon Master, and the third volume will be Return of the Kung Fu Dragon Master. So I kind of have it in my
Oh, I'm ready.
head of like how that I would get 3 volumes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for the next one already. Yeah. And again, congratulations for the Kickstarter going well. I mean, last time we talked about it, the Kickstarter for Volume 2 was already, well, this Volume 1, but for Volume 2 was already doing well when we talked about it. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
and what I did was instead of giving everyone a volume 2 and, like, kinda printing that and then printing a deluxe, I went straight to the deluxe version, so anybody who buys it now gets volume 1 and volume 2 combined.
There you go,
So
guys.
so you can,
Yeah.
if you buy it on the store or on Kindle or Amazon or Drive Through
Yeah.
Comics or whatever, you'll get the whole thing, and I made that decision right before all of the costs of shipping and printing went up, so
Oh, perfect timing.
so yeah, so I got a little
Yeah.
nailed on there, but I'm like, you know what? No, this is what I want to do, and I want to, give this
Yeah.
to the fans because this is, and I added, a couple more pinups and one from Jeff Johnston, who did Way of the Rat, and I was like, no, this is the
Ooh.
deluxe version, so I wanna
Yeah.
get more, give everyone a little more. So
Yeah, I had a
so
couple of
the
buddies of mine that loved Way of the Rat.
yeah,
Yeah, they
he's
were like,
such
Way
a
of the
great
Rat's
artist.
legit. So,
Yeah, he
but
he
yeah, I
did
mean, So go
He
ahead.
did the pinup that with the two giants fighting.
Oh,
That's his.
nice. The
Yeah.
sword on sword action there.
Hmm.
Yeah. That made me think of Big Trouble in Little China a little bit.
Totally, totally. That
Yeah,
was definitely
yeah,
the vibe. A guy gets the power of the dragon. He's completely ill-equipped to have it. He shouldn't have it,
yeah,
and gets mixed up in this ancient battle between good and evil. He just wants to be a Fight Club fighter. He's a small time con artist, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
I always put that undercurrent of like, if you're angry all the time in the Western culture and the Eastern culture, they kind of combine. Is there redemption for you? Can you find a better way and a better path? Which is what
Exactly.
a lot of kung fu and martial arts is.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And for years, 4 years, they keep talking about a Big Trouble in Little China sequel, and
Yeah.
or oh no, we're not going to do that now. We're going to do a remake. Oh wait, no, we're not going to do that now. We're going to do a reboot. Oh wait, no, we're just going to do a movie in the universe.
Right.
Just make this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Just
Just
do this.
skip to this, please.
Just do
Yeah.
this. All right. Save getting shit
Mhm.
on and
Yeah.
save yourself from the wrath
Yeah.
of the diehard Big Trouble in Little China fans.
Yeah.
Okay. There's
Yeah.
other properties like
Mhm.
this that needs your more, attention for sure. But
And
yeah, a lot of fun.
it's got monsters and,
Oh yeah.
poor decision making and surly baristas and of course dragons. So it's got
Yeah.
everything in it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, now we get to the sequel. Well, the next volume here, Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master. And I will do my best to not talk about spoilers.
Mhm.
But I really enjoyed it, man.
Cool.
Really, really,
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. A great continuation. And like any continuation in the saga, things start to get a little more serious now.
They do.
And
Yes.
it's like, oh shit. I mean, it's fun having the comedy and a little bit of the shenanigans, but
Mhm.
oh shit. There's stakes.
Yes.
There's stakes. That's one of the problems that people are saying about Marvel now is like there's no stakes in the MCU. Like
Or it's
Rick.
always the end of the universe. It's like, oh,
It's
if
yeah,
you can't put that in every movie.
right, right, right. Rick said something interesting. He said that when they opened up the multiverse, and it's one of those things where it's like, wow, now we could do anything, which is a positive. But then Rick said it's also a negative because, wow, now we could do anything. There's no stakes.
Right, and there's no
People,
consequences either. "Oh, we don't
they're
like that one, then okay, we won't talk about that universe again. We'll just go to another universe that,
yep,
we'll make things work better."
that beloved character that you're pissed off got killed. We just bring him back and it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. Black Widow's
Yeah,
not dead. She'll come back.
right. Mhm. There's a
Captain
million other
America.
versions of her, yeah.
Right. You're gonna get Tom Cruise coming back
Yeah.
as Iron Man. It's all good. But yeah, man, I loved how things have escalated a little bit more serious, even to the point where Lynn and Rick were throwing down, man.
Yes.
I was like,
Mhm,
wow, I like this is some great action here. I'm just showing the
mhm,
action right here.
mhm.
But yeah, I love the training sequences as well that you had written out in here. But yeah, Lynn and Rick were going. I was like, oh shit. She
Yeah,
said she had some dialogue I wasn't not expecting her to say. And I
yeah.
was like, all right, Lynn, that's a little fucked up. I think you crossed the line there.
Yeah.
Crossed the line there, Lynn, a little bit. But things escalated, which is great,
Yeah. We also did like another pass. I don't know if you noticed because you read like the first volume and then the deluxe edition of the sound effects because we wanted to make it feel like a black belt theater like that we used to
Yeah.
watch as kids. So there's all these extra sound effects, a lot of them on the panel. So we actually went back to volume one and put more of them in for there, so you could kind of
Oh,
hear all of the punches and the kicks and like make it
yeah,
really feel
yeah.
like you're watching one of those martial arts movies that we all kind of grew up on.
Nice. Yeah, the classics, man. The classics. But
Hmm.
again, the artwork really, really
Yeah.
pops. Very, very entertaining, man. It's there's not a boring read, not a
Yeah.
boring moment reading this stuff. And and
Yeah.
and this is my favorite line. Well, I have a lot of favorite lines actually that I can't spoil. But this is one of them. I'll give you a little taste. This is one of the villains come in, and I just love this. Well, what do we have here? We were just out on the streets paving the way for the age of darkness. I was rolling, man. I was like, yeah, that's phenomenal. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal villain dialogue, man. Yeah, we're just out and about,
Yeah.
paving the way for the age of darkness. That's all. I was rolling. I had to at least spoil that because
Yeah.
this is fucking hilarious, man. It's so funny. But yeah, again, a lot of action. Love the artwork. And again, the character designs, Fernando really,
Yeah.
really, I mean, does this not scream animated series right here?
I couldn't agree
This
more.
is
Yeah.
perfect. Oh my goodness. But another thing I'll spoil a little bit. My favorite sequence or scene is the ridiculous brawl at Starbucks.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? And the dialogue leading up before them going there was hilarious. And then they just had this huge brawl. I mean, oh my
Yeah.
god. And his buddy, I love how his buddy, every time he does an attack, he has to say what it is.
Right. Yeah. He names everything.
Oh, so anyway, the guy training him was like, you don't have to name every
Right.
move you're doing. But yeah, big old brawl at Starbucks. I mean, what else do you want here? What else do you want here? But yeah, this screams animated series for sure. And you gotta have fun loving heroes, but you gotta have great villains too.
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, could these be the villains, Chris? I don't know. Just look at this
Perhaps.
page.
Well, there is an eye patch, so yes.
Oh man, but yeah, love the villains. And things get crazy, man. Things get crazy, more beat down, just tons of action. I feel like there's more action in this than the first volume.
There probably is.
About
It
the same,
definitely
or
escalates. No, there's probably more because it really gets into, it escalates for sure. And then I think too towards the end, I started writing in more. I'm like, well, this is the final big fight. I gotta add. There's got to be more fighting here. There's got to be
yeah.
an elite guard, and it's got to be more dangerous. And so
Oh
I
yeah.
think I even added more as I was writing.
Nice. There's always room for more fighting.
Absolutely.
Or you can write a really bad script with only 2 fights. I mean, that's your alternative.
Yeah.
But yeah, again,
And name the movie Blade and
yeah,
only have
and
two
maybe
fights.
yes, yes. Again, love the artwork. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Love that kind of stuff, man. Again, without spoiling anything, this is my second favorite villain. And I will not spoil anything, but the dialogue was very unexpected
Yeah.
and hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Really funny, man. Good stuff. But look at that. Fernando, my friend.
Yeah,
Hey,
incredible.
Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, he really went all out for this. I mean, this is fantastic stuff, man. Fantastic stuff. Oh my goodness. So on Amazon you can get it, but only digitally.
Only digitally, but a hard copy is at White Cat Entertainment, and they're also signed. So, and I'll ship those out.
Nice. Now you guys
Mhm.
got to get it, man. You got to get it.
Mhm.
Trust Samurai Guy. I know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. But you being a fan, like kind of like me, similar, you being a fan of martial arts, old school, kung fu, and fantasy, is Kevin on the money here with your comic? A little bit.
Yes, I think he might be. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way
yeah.
to put it. I think I'm
Yeah,
gonna write
just
that down when I pitch you for the animated show.
there
So
you go. Yeah, man. But yeah, you guys, you got to check this out. It's nothing but
Mhm.
fun. The colors pop, the dialogue's hilarious. There's tons of action. You have very, very likable heroes and very memorable villains. Memorable villains, and that's very important. That's the worst thing you can ever do for anything, film, series, comic, is have this awesome hero and like the worst, lamest, vanilla, generic, forgettable villain ever. That kind of really could ruin the movie. Does anyone to this day remember the villain from Quantum of Solace?
I barely remember that movie. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
call it Quantum of Boredom.
Yeah. I don't actually.
Quantum of Boredom. But there you go. Kevin wants residuals now. He's asking for too much, Kevin.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, phenomenal. So you guys got to get the second volume. Highly, highly recommend it. But I'm gonna recommend another one here, and this one is even thicker. That's right. We're going back to the fantasy right here, baby.
Yep.
Long ago and far away. Nice and thick, get your money's worth. And this, another hilarious, hilarious, fun read. Again, with likable heroes. Again, with memorable villains. Especially, I love the villain in this. That's my guy. That's my guy in here, man. Let's see. Would you? Hey, Fat, have fun. Was it hug an elf and save the world? Did you put it there? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And that one is pretty much Clerks meets Game of Thrones. It's
There you go.
or Narnia. It's like, what if
There you go.
like you were talking about before, like, you know, you as a kid in Narnia, you would go through the wardrobe, you would go to the fantasy world, you would save the world. But then when you come back, you're 30 and you run a comic book store and your life's a mess and you're an asshole. And then you have
Yeah.
to go back in that world again as an adult. Well, maybe you might just make things worse because
Yeah,
you're such a jerk now.
it's kind of
So-
original. This is rich. This is kind of
Yeah.
original. Like I don't think I've seen that. You know.
Yeah, it
before.
was really fun to write, and it kind of came from that premise, and it as I was writing, it became more and more personal. Of like, you know, what do we give up from our childhoods? What do we let go of? What shouldn't we not let go of? And that childhood, and how do you rekindle that love and that childhood wonder the way you used to look at the world before
There
you
you
got
go.
old and jaded? And that's kind
Yeah.
of like the crux of the book.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very well done. Very well said. And I just had a blast with this. Both of these comics, man. I just sped read through both of them. And I think I mentioned this the last time we spoke. Some great artwork here. We have some sketches here.
Hmm.
Yeah, some great stuff right here. That you know, it's been a long time since I've read comics. Like it's been a long time. Like Samurai Guy has boxes in my garage
Hmm.
of stuff just in there wrapped in bags and boards, baby. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So they're
bags
ready to
and
be
boards.
brought back out anytime you want. They're ready to go.
One day I'll show my collection. I got to clean the garage first, which is going to take 10 years. It's going to take 10 years to
Oh,
do that.
I
But
I hear that.
one day I'll get in there and I'll just bust out because at this point it's been so long. I
Mhm.
probably forgot what I even have in the boxes. But once in a
Yeah.
while I'll buy a graphic novel.
Action Comics number 1. Oh, I could retire on this.
This guy.
Yeah.
No, a lot of them stuff in them boxes and from Dollar Comics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The guy in the shop's got it on sale. He's got a whole Dollar Comic section, so yeah, it's probably nothing of value. But yeah, once in a while I'll buy a graphic novel and read it, but it's really rare.
Yeah.
But when I got these, man, I just read through both of them like nothing.
Mhm.
And the villain's name, remind me again, because it's been a year.
No.
I didn't get a chance to catch up
There's
on
two.
this.
There's that Nexus is the Witch Queen, which is
Right.
based on the sorceress from
Right.
Narnia, and then Lord Montalban is the Black
That's
Knight.
my guy. Montalban. That's my dude, man. Yeah, this dude right here. Yeah, that's my guy right there. I mean, an action figure of that guy, I would get it. But yeah, highly recommend this as well, guys. But just like we got the awesome second volume of Rise of the Kung Fu Dragon Master, boom, right around the corner, the next volume for Long Ago Far Away, #2, Electric Boogaloo, Son of
Yep.
Elvenwood.
Mhm.
Yes. Now the Kickstarter for this has not dropped yet.
It hasn't dropped yet. I'm still kind of putting the pieces together on the next campaign and kind of getting the script in order because I'm not sure how much I'm going to break it up. Like, because it's going to be probably over 200 pages, and I don't want to kill the artist for or I don't want him to kill me. So
Right.
we're still figuring out how we're going to kind of break it up. But I'm looking for like a it's either going to be late summer, early fall for the launch because I want to make sure I get it right and make sure nobody is and everyone's not on vacation when I run a Kickstarter, so that because it's harder to there's certain months that it's actually harder to fund a Kickstarter. There's actually seasons now, so I have to make sure I hit that window. But I'm really excited about it. I've been working on the script and basically the consequences and the actions from the first book drive the second book, like something like, oh, well, that's what's going to happen there. And then there's a little teaser at the end. There's like a little side story at the end of the first book. And that is kind of the entire impetus of the of the second book. So
Okay,
they
gotcha,
tie
gotcha.
together.
Is there, without spoiling it, can you give us
Mhm.
a little bit of what 2 might be about?
Two is going to be about having a son that you weren't expecting. And because of the way the fantasy time shifts work, that son is now 20 years older than you, and he has a bunch of necromancers after him. So
Oh, fun. All right. Copy that. Copy that. Kevin said he's gonna buy that too. That's it. That's it. That's
awesome.
it. Yeah. He had a question here. He says, Chris, did you say if you buy the deluxe edition and it has both volumes?
Yes. So the only one on Amazon is the deluxe edition, and you'll get both volumes in there. And the same for the website. You get both. The deluxe edition
Nice.
has both volumes. Yeah.
That's perfect, man. Because it's
Mhm.
once they start reading, they're gonna want to keep going. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like perfect, you know. But you got a little you got a podcast. When did you start that?
I do. I have two. I mean, I've been in podcasting for over a decade. I did, Comedy Film Nerds for a decade. We ended that in 2019, but
Oh,
then
I thought you started
uh,
something new recently. Okay.
so no, well in new-ish 2020.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm doing What Are You Watching, which is I interview comedians and filmmakers and actors and people like in entertainment, and we talk about what they're doing, but then we talk about what they're watching because it always gives
Nice.
that extra insight.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll definitely have you on
Oh,
in the
yeah.
next couple months. And
I'd
then
love
the
to.
other
It'd be an
one,
honor. Be an honor.
the other one that I've been working on now that is been growing a lot because I think it's something people could use right now is it's a storytelling comedy insomnia anti-anxiety podcast. So I kind
Okay.
of combined like a hybrid a podcast. It's called The Quiet Journeys of Professor Atwood, where I play a professor that goes on all these different journeys, like under the ocean and
Oh, wow.
into like
Okay.
and some and explores and pirate caves and all these things. But it has a bed underneath it of music and sound effects, and it's designed to kind of like tone down the anxiety in our heads and then
Oh.
help people like kind of go to sleep. And if you fall asleep, there's recaps for the next episode. You won't miss
Oh,
any
shit.
story. But if you have really bad insomnia or an anxiety and you stay up
Yeah.
for the whole thing, you still
Right.
get a story. And I wanted to create something that could help people and also give them fun, cool, funny stories with like some music and sound effects.
Yeah.
And I always didn't like the tools of like to help people with anxiety and the insomnia. Like, well, now listen to my voice. You have to breathe, do these exercises. I wanted to make a passive podcast where
Yeah.
it does all the work for you. You don't have to worry about anything. All you got to do is turn it on, chill, and then the show takes care of the rest. So,
How cool is that? I mean, we can always use some less anxiety in our
yes,
lives.
yeah,
Plus, you
yeah,
get good sleep,
yeah.
or you get a really great story. How cool
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that, man?
A
That's
and,
awesome.
as a writer, I like doing it too because it's a sandbox, like it's stream of consciousness. I can kinda just go wherever I want. I'm like, "All right, well, Professor Atwood is under the ocean finding a lost civilization. Now he's up in the clouds meeting cloud people. Now he's gonna go in outer space and do whatever he want," and it's just fun. So, like, it puts people in kind of like a meditative, relaxed state so they can, relax and hopefully sleep.
How awesome is that? That is awesome. That is cool. And Kevin's already buying the signed copy of there.
Awesome.
Kevin's on fire. He's on. You know what, Kevin? You know what,
Thank you,
Kevin?
Kevin.
You know what, Kevin? You know what, my friend? You're getting the Redford. That's right. Kevin got the
Awesome.
Redford.
He deserves it.
Awesome, Kevin. Awesome, my friend. Oh man, but
And
this was a
thank you,
blast.
Kevin. Much appreciated.
Yeah, this was a blast. You know me. You know me and you. We talk all day.
Awesome. We could go
All
at least
day.
another 2 hours.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Maybe on your podcast,
Yeah.
but I know you're extremely busy, man. It was so nice to have you here. Back.
Oh,
It's
this was
been a
great.
while. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Happy to
And
be here. Always fun catching up and talking about
oh
everything.
yeah. Oh yeah. And hopefully we get to see each other in person at Comic-Con this
Yeah,
year.
that would be great. Yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
Neil and I will definitely be there. And then what I'll do is I'll text you and we'll and
Yeah.
I'll come to the Kung Fu extravaganza, or if we can't announce it yet, it may not, so it's
Yeah. Yeah.
but
We
it's
don't
pretty
know yet.
likely. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
most likely.
likely. So
And you get to see Samurai Guy walk out there and
yeah.
trip and fall
Yeah.
over in front of the whole world. And it'll go viral. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be great.
I
Oh
just
man,
got 10,000 more subscribers. Wait.
I need to fall more often then.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this was a blast having you here. Hey, everybody watching, don't forget to follow. That's right, Chris. Check the links in the description box below of the video. Check out White Cat Entertainment. Y'all know what you need to do. Get out there, man. Buy it. Buy. Support awesome work. That's right. Get volumes 1 and 2. That's right. Stay tuned for the Kickstarter for more awesome fantasy action. That's right. And you don't want to miss the sequel because he's only going to have 2 fights in it. So you don't want to you don't want to miss
Yeah.
it. Before we go, Chris, is there anything you want to say to your followers, man?
No, just thanks a lot for all the support. And you can get everything, and all the links are pretty much at whitecatentertainment.com for in the store, or the podcast links. If there's anything like, oh, where is that? I missed that. So just everything's at whitecatentertainment.com.
All right. Copy that. Awesome. Chris, don't go anywhere. But you guys, hey, thanks again for watching. You guys rock. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. You guys already know what to do. You guys are awesome. Keep reading badass comics. Keep watching badass movies. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.